Week 10 of the 2024 NFL season brought us some deja vu from Week 9. It's professional quarterback Justin Arth here to tell you my top 5 quarterback performances this time of Week 10 for the 2024 NFL season. I'm going to let you guys know which quarterbacks are balling, who's playing the best regardless of statistics, and maybe who are some guys you need to stay away from with the fantasy football playoffs coming very close down the pipe. Let's get into my honorable mentions as always for Week 10. Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Jalen Hurts, Will Levis, Derek Carr, and Justin Herbert. Number 5, Bo Nix. Bo Nix had a 115.3 QBR, 22 of 30 for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bo deserved that upset of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. He played very well against the Steve Spagnuolo coach defense that is always known for disguising his defenses and bringing exotic blitzes. He got the ball out of his hands very quickly, excelled in the quick game to open up shots down the field. The line didn't help him at times, but he still made enough plays with his legs to extend plays and lead a game-winning drive that ultimately ended in that blocked field goal. Bo is pushing Jaden Daniels right now for the Rookie of the Year, and here's another statement as to why that's the case. I still think Jaden Daniels is the Rookie of the Year as of right now, but Bo Nix with a couple good weeks, maybe there's a conversation. Number 4, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray had a 126.7 QBR, 22 of 24 for 266 yards, 1 touchdown with additional 3 rushes for 21 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, so 3 total touchdowns. Clean, simple, easy reads. It was something that their offense was able to give Kyler Murray. He was getting the ball out of his hands tremendously well, very quickly, and then pushing the ball down the field. The only mistake in watching his film that I saw from that game was a pass pro slide that got Kyler's head taken off. He could have slid the protection left, understanding that that was going to be a free rusher, or at least turning his head there to throw the hot there, but instead he didn't recognize that, slid the line right, and it basically was a kill shot for the defensive end. He was playing on time and on point with ball placement, world-class anticipation out of Kyler Murray, and in reality, this is some of the best football I've seen Kyler Murray play. This is a Kyler Murray that is dangerous in the NFL, not just fantasy football. Number 3, Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy had a 119.3 QBR, 25 of 36 for 353 yards, 2 touchdowns with an additional 17 yards on the ground. This was not Purdy's most accurate game by any stretch of the imagination. Balls were kind of being sprayed all over the field. He wasn't as pinpoint accurate as I'm used to seeing him, but subtle pocket movements, drifting the drop away from the blitzer into open space to avoid the free rusher. He had some impressive elite level play execution, and throwing balls with anticipation was outstanding. As always with Purdy magic occurs 2 to 3 times a game where he makes some huge plays and dispels that game manager tag. Then he led a huge drive towards the end of the game to go down and win the game. Number 2, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had a 108.3 QBR, 34 of 56 for 428 yards and 4 touchdowns. What can I not say about Joe Burrow? He is playing within the system, yet also elevating it to greater heights. He was forced to climb the pocket and make plenty of plays while moving, and he consistently delivered strikes all over the field. Burrow found himself in a bunch of 3rd and 4th downs in this game and converted them at a fairly high clip. He gave the Bengals a perfect balance of taking what the Ravens defense gave him and then taking the top off of that defense to push the ball down the field and get huge gains. Burrow did everything he could to win the game for the Bengals. I'd argue a pass interference on the 2-point play to win that game as well, but without Burrow, the Bengals are not even in that position. And number 1, for the 2nd consecutive week, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson had a 141.4 QBR, 25 of 33 for 290 yards and 4 touchdowns with an additional 33 yards on 7 rushes on the ground. For a 2nd consecutive week, Lamar tops my list with another outstanding performance from the pocket. But this week, however, the Ravens blended that threat of him running into creating more rollouts and getting the ball out of his hands, allowing him to run slightly a bit more, but he wasn't forced to go escape the pocket when any read broke down. He was staying in the pocket and delivering strikes. Lamar was extremely accurate downfield and did all that the Ravens asked of him. I don't see a bad read from Lamar Jackson in this game whenever I look at the film. But despite the slow start offensively, when the game needed a comeback, when the Bengals were up by so much, and then the go-ahead touchdown, he delivered like he typically does.